And today we've brought you Mpumelelo, social bicycle entrepreneur, and the founder of BOOK IBHONI. Can I see by show of hands those of you who've once owned a bicycle? Even if it wasn't yours, but you owned it. Yeah? So you'll hear from this award-winning entrepreneur. Mpumelelo is an award-winning tourism company that uses cycling. Listen to this. It uses cycling to create meaningful experiences in Soweto. IBHONI is right here. So if you're talking about a disruption mindset, Mpumelelo and what they've done, right? Because but you'll hear about how he's disrupted this industry. Born and raised in Soweto, but also stayed and grew up in Orange Farm, he started BOOK IBHONI in 2015 during the Fees Must Fall movement. The business offers discountable bicycle tours in exchange for book donations. Let me repeat that. The business offers discounted bicycle tours in exchange for book donations, which are then donated to the community. Libraries bridging the gap between tourism and education. I'm interested to find out more about this business. But one thing it's truly doing, it's disrupting. And that's the mindset that we need to have as we go into 2015. We hear more about it. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for Mpumelelo as he comes on stage, the social entrepreneur and the founder of BOOK IBHONI. Please take the stage, my brother. Come on, Soweto, 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 Soweto! One of ours, man. Tarim Shapeleng Matsoho.
Sanbonan. I think usbushila kuyachisa la, so angifuna ukungasho kuyachisa la. So well done to you guys. This is terrible.
Yeah, Gyashisa. Gyashisa. My brother, thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome.
Incredible, man. You talk about a disruption mindset. Just briefly tell the audience, who are you, what do you do, and why this particular business?
All right, so igama Mpumelelo Mtintso. I was born at Bara. I think that's where most of us were born in the room. I grew up at Dlamini, grew up in Orlando, even got a privilege to go overseas. So I think every place that I've been to and was raised in has shaped me to be who I am namhlanje. And yeah, in 2015 I started BOOK IBHONI. I did not finish iskolo because, many challenges, but also because, when you grow up at Kasi, all you want to be is a soccer player. We used to watch about Thabo Moki and, wanted to be a soccer player, but parents were like, no, go to school. So I went to school. By the time I finished school, I was old. So I couldn't run with the AMA 2K. So then I decided, if I can't run with them, I will use a bicycle. That's when I started my bicycle tour company. Kona like us, but also through my travels, I've seen how people overseas use a bicycle.
Sure.
Yeah, and I suppose as South Africans, bicycle. When people see me riding a bike, yo, chomi, bicycle. So then, that's why you need the winning mentality, I suppose. I've seen how people use bicycles in different parts of the world, so I decided to bring it back home as well.
This is interesting. Because like, it's even become like a business now. But tatama number plate, number. So why then infuse IBHONI nengwadi?
Yeah.
Why that?
All right, so umuntu okhulele la eOrlando, I've seen other businesses doing bicycle tours in and around the Soweto, right? We've seen abelungu, riding bikes around the township. So then I decided to start with something that is, one, unique, and secondly, that's not going to bring me too much attention. Yeah, because if you do tours, VR6, I suppose, you get so much attention, you know. So this is less attention. Also, it's easier. And if you look at the market, the people that use bicycles from overseas, they don't use them just for racing or anything. They use them as a mode of transport. We meet people that tell us about they've never owned a car in their lives. All they've done is use a bicycle from point A to point B. Even now, going to corporate, they use bicycles. So then for me, that was a gap. There are people that are still doing it, same with us. Kodwa, in 2015, I decided to give back to the community in terms of education. So when the country was going through a fees must fall movement, which obviously was an inequality in itself, Kodwa for me, it was people fighting for access to education. So then I thought about if I have a business that can contribute positively into the education sector, we wouldn't have fees must fall protest in the future, because then kids will gain access to education at a younger age. Yep. And so travelers or tourists, for example, abantu abafundayo, and most people that read books as well, you'll say, oh, this book changed my life. Right? Kodwa then, after reading that book, why do you let it collect dust endlini when you can donate it to someone else and give them an opportunity to also the book to change their lives? So that's why I combine the two.
So, I mean, I can imagine we're going through life. It's 2015. We're cycling through life. You start this business, and I'm assuming you're starting something different. You're disrupting. And anytime you want to disrupt, there's always a pushback from people who are even close to you. Like, Echo, what mindset did you have to overcome those negative comments or negative feedback or pushback from the market or even the people who are close to you?
Yeah, I'll tell you a story quickly.
Share, my brother.
Ekaya, so I grew up with Omakulu, right? I think just like most of us who grew up in Nabokoko. My grandmother, even today, she still asks me about, when are you going to get a real job? You know, even today, because to her, this is not a real job. Never mind the fact that I'm married with kids. I send them to school. This is not a real job to her, right? But I think growing up Ekasi with so many challenges, you learn to overcome certain things. I mean, most of us have had nicknames given to us. Modlali ball and have a big head, your name is Jomo. You know what I mean? So most of us have been given nicknames. So from that, I'm like, look, I've been given nicknames Ingovol or Dontoni, but for me, this is business. So I had to overlook all of that and make sure that I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Obviously, Ekaya, the day I said I'm moving out, they were like, well, Puma Namapa is skill, which also is a motivation on its own, you know, to make sure that, you know, people see that you can take something as simple as a bicycle and make a living out of it. At the same time, giving back to the community that you operate in. And for me, there's no better way to give back than actually education, you know, because, I mean, we've had 1976, same thing. Kids were protesting, or Hector got shot, and everyone else that was involved because of access to education and just quality education. Same, 2015. That's more or less the same thing. People were protesting for education. So if we can try and tackle this education thing at an early age, in the future, kids will be reading books that will give them solutions so that we don't have these protesters in terms of education.
Sure. Let's give him a round of applause. Let's give him a round of applause. I hope that you are learning. I hope that you've been challenged. I hope that you're enjoying this conversation. For me, it's always the story behind the glory. Because masukbona Mpumelelo, okay, Shapu, you know, manje sovange poni. I did some research on the work that you do, the articles that you are featured on. Yo, look at this guy. You know, what's your mindset when you face a challenge? And how do you overcome that challenge?
Yeah.
And just share some of the challenges that you have faced in your business, whether it was funding.
Yeah. So the biggest challenge is that you walk into any room and talk about amapa skill, no one takes you serious. Like, yeah, I'm a bicycle, so that's the biggest challenge. Even when you go to corporate to go pitch, they don't have bicycle parking. And then they want to make a joke and like, uzenge bicycle, like, yeah. That's what I stand for, ngizenge bicycle, right? But they don't have bicycle parking. So that's one of the challenges. But ekasi, I suppose the challenges would be just people wondering about, what's going on every day? Who and a bicycle up and down, right? And then in terms of funding, unfortunately, we don't get a lot of funding because of what we do and how we do it. Only now, after 10 years, we're able to hit a certain mark in terms of revenue, in terms of attention. But for the whole 10 years, we've just been pushing. And remember, we had COVID as well. So during COVID, there were no tourists coming into the country. So then what we did, we used the same bicycles to deliver for small businesses like us. So our merchants that were washing amategi, selling food, selling this,
Disruption.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, for me, there's always a solution, but I'll speak for myself. There's always a solution in terms of ipaskili. I mean, even now, which is a little bit funny, because we're faced with amapancha, because umtu uyapuza and just throw the bottle, so everywhere we cycle, there's broken glass on the floor, but that's also a thing that we have to work around in terms of the community. It's either one, we educate the community, but we're also serious. This is business, right? We've done it with taxi drivers. So I'm a taxi driver, as bad of a PR they have, but they've actually come to understand that we are also in business, so we have to share the road. At the beginning, it was Tuga and whatnot, but now they do give us right of way when we come, because this is a mode of transport as well.
Is this bicycle insured?
Not this one, yes, because it's business, so it's part of that. Wow. And so
there's bicycle insurance.
Yeah, there's even what do you call it? Financial plan when you buy a car. You can get a bike for 100+ K that you must finance as well.
Wow. A bicycle 100K. My brother, 2015 you start. We're 10 years in now, 2025. Business requires patience, a lot of patience. And I think through your story, you've shown us the power of patience and what patience does. You said there was a time when no business was coming in, and you can get discouraged as an entrepreneur. The product is there, but I'm an order one game. And it can mess up with your mind and your mindset. Then you start to question yourself. Am I good enough? Is my product good enough? How did you stay patient? And what would you say to an entrepreneur who's watching, who's struggling with staying patient?
So as a bicycle entrepreneur, I use e-bicycle for my own personal growth, for health reasons as well. Cycling has many mental health benefits into it, because you are active, so your whole body is doing something. So I use that to keep my mental health in check. Kodwa, I always say, collaboration is key. We have to belong to some sort of a community. So that can also, if your business is not doing as well as it should, you can get inspired by people around you, Same when we do Ilantuga, we collaborate with other township businesses. So when Abelungu will come from HMN, we take them to Makota, Kulwazi's Kota place. We take them to Ebuntu Kral to have a Soweto beer tasting. We don't want to do all of that. We are not in the business against Amakota. We're in the business of cycling. So for Tina, we are storytellers. We'll tell the history of what Tatu Nelson Mandela and everyone that played a part in terms of history, but we're not in the business of making a makota. So for me, to stay in check, you have to belong to some sort of a community so that you get inspired by other people, especially as black people in the township. We have to stay together. Yeah.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We have to stay together. The winning mindset. What's a winning mindset for you?
I would say to ignore Uguti, Mpumi, what is bicycle? Just ignore that and just stay focused into what you do. There's many ways to the winning mentality, but for me, it's just knowing exactly about what am I doing and who am I doing it for, and what is the 5-year plan, for example, you know, and celebrate every little victory. So that if you hit 10,000 followers on social media, celebrate it. Someone is following you for a reason. You know what I mean? So for me, that will help to have that winning mentality, because one person buying your product or using your services is a big win. Celebrate that. I'm not saying take the profits and make a party to celebrate. No, but you know, do something for yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that will help to keep up winning mentality, because then you recognize about the work that you put in, you know, has bring in profit.
Talking about celebration, what's been the biggest win for BOOK IBHONI? The biggest achievement?
Being able to sit here and have a decent conversation in front of people, usually this is scary, you know, so this is the biggest. And then outside of this, I suppose winning like the awards that we've won.
Sure.
So we've gotten Ilantoga, the youth in tourism. When I was youth, I'm not youth anymore, but when I was youth, we won the youth in tourism at the Soweto Tourism Awards. We've gotten recognition from travel platforms internationally as one of the must-do bicycle tours in Soweto when you come to South Africa. Yep.
Come on, Soweto, let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. This is incredible.
Yeah, and I mean other recognitions as well, because like I said, we donate books to community libraries, right?
Sure.
So for me, there's a school, Itula Sizwe. It's a school for kids with epilepsy, and we've been supporting them throughout. And the kids actually drew like a painting for us, which was a bicycle logo, which was a great exercise for the kids, but also to receive that as a company, as a cause, is like, I don't think there can be an award for that, you know, because ipuma ebantwini, that you are just helping because you have a business and you have access to these tourists Nantontoni, and when the books come, we take them there, and for them to give us that gift was really special. Yeah, it was something else. It was something else.
All right, to our online audience as well, please do share your takeaways from this conversation that we're having with Mpumelelo from BOOK IBHONI, which I'm really inspired, my brother.
Thank you.
By the work that you do.
Thank you.
I'm sure there are people in the audience who would love to ask questions. So we're going to open it up for 3 questions to Mpumelelo. Anybody who would love to ask a question? Some of you actually need to start learning how to ride bikes. Why uhleli uhamba ngeenyawo? Isikhathi baba, isikhathi. BOOK IBHONI. Yes, my brother. Question here. 1. My brother. Question 2. 1 more. Question 3. All right, my brother. So what we'll do, we've got another mic. All right, yeah.
Sanbonani, Kamusihle. My question is, njengobushilo ubhuti ukuthi some of us do not know how to ride bikes. Not only that, we have no history driving at so all no hamba indlela. Let's say I rent a biking sebenzisana nani for ukuya emsebenzini. But then angikwazi ukusuka la to Santini indlela ngiyazi ngijwayele itaxi. Then what will you do in a situation like that? Ukuthi okay, ukunceda leyo muntu loyo ukuthi akwazi ukufika from point A to point B. Yabo.
All right. So the question here, it's very difficult because unfortunately we don't have the power to create bicycle lanes, for example. Lawase Orlando, they are great. We utilize them, but we get bullied by motorists. Because when kumuntu driving motor with and the road is supposed to be shared, so it's very difficult. However, as bicycle and cycling advocates, we are engaging with the government, especially the city of Johannesburg, to have bicycle lanes. The same as they have them in the north, we also would appreciate them like us. The culture of cycling is growing in Kasi. The one that put number plates on bikes. It's growing, and if we take care of that, we can actually have less traffic. And I just have to say, guys, to you motorists, sitting in traffic is not a sign of success. You're wasting time. You could be doing something. So, Puti, the bicycle lanes, we are chatting to the government, but, you know, we're a company based in Orlando, so there's only so much we can do. So if there's anyone from, you know, government officials in a very high position that's willing to listen to us, to assist, especially with challenges like that, Tinas nama bicycle for days, we can give you bikes and stuff, yeah.
Fantastic. Yes, sir. Can we get the mic to Khudmana?
Wow, I forgot your name, but I think
Mpumelelo.
I'll refer you. Mpumelelo. Okay. Mpumi, this is Lily. Wow, I must say it's a great initiative. However, I'm keen to know that are you collaborating with things like your cycling days or even making initiatives thereof of cycling days and all that to bring in the culture, ekasi, you know? I remember at a time, Abu Richard Soad from Richard Trading, they were supporting an event whereby it was charity for cycling. So if you didn't have IBHONI, you would definitely have to get one. I think also you collaborating with such would also help in you renting out a mapon to say, hey guys, I'm here. If anyone would like to rent a bike, they're more than welcome, you know? And more than that also, are you also having any cycling clubs like they do in the north, you know, and then you know very well if there's any 702, whatever, cycling happening, Middle Drift or whatever, we have our guys from Ekasi who are representing us. Sure.
Putting Yabonga for Umbuzo. So we do have a BOOK IBHONI cycling club. More than the cycling club, during school holidays, we rent out a bicycle to Abantwana, almost for free. But you know, we need to service bikes, so we charge them something like 20 rand for 2 hours, and then siyabalandela to make sure ukuthi abantu abathathela amabhayisikili. And then in terms of cycling events, we do have an event called Tour the Libraries. So with the books that we collect when people book our tours, we have a day which we call Tour the Libraries, and we go and cycle to these community libraries so that up to that donate books, they can actually see where the books are going. So we do have a cycling event called Tour the Libraries. For this year though, we are cycling from Soweto to Northern Cape to raise funds and also to raise awareness about cycling and the importance of literacy. So if you want to join, you're more than welcome. But yeah, and then in terms of cycling events in the township, they are very complicated because we're not going to act like we don't have challenges in terms of a space that we share because the community is for wonke. So other people feel like it's unfair, which is varistrata and cycle around ngama bicycle. So it's a very challenging thing. However, we are communicating with abantu that can make it possible. Because even if you guys know Ilantuga 947, the right Joburg thing, but it's a Soweto, but it's Nazarek. It does not come Orlando, Kaikai, Nazarek, but obviously Soweto being a big brand, they use Soweto to sell the thing, right? So and also being a population of almost 2 million people in Soweto, we can have our own 947 ride. That will then have to have the taxi association to come into play. We have to have businesses as well that can support the initiative of cycling. If you look at North, cycling clubs, on their cycling jerseys, they have businesses advertising lab. So, which means it's not expensive to make the thing, the cycling jersey. So, Tina, it will be nice to have a year to, for example, on our cycling jersey or put Sakoms on our cycling jersey. But the challenge comes in convincing them about IBHONI. You know? So, yeah, so hopefully at some point we can have a cycling event like Soweto.
Last question? Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Mpumelelo. I just have a question around your long-term plans in terms of diversification. from your core offering. Do you have any such plans, and have you had any obstacles to those plans?
Sorry, is certificate?
Diversification. So you did, for instance, mention that you are not in the catering business, but are there any other additional forms of income linked to your core solution that you're thinking of taking up?
Oh, okay, okay. So with BOOK IBHONI, I mean, bicycle tours are one part of the business. We teach people how to ride bikes. We do collaborate with, I suppose, corporate in terms of their wellness days and stuff like that. So we do have other ways to try and earn an income outside of the bicycle tours. The bicycle tours are the main income generator for us because charging a tourist 700 for 3 hours, you know, it's good business for Tina. And then we do have cycling events, but at a very small scale, where we do, for example, a beer ride. So we have something called a beer ride, which is for adults, because clearly our business is around kids. So for adults, we have something called beer ride. So a beer ride is just for us cyclists to celebrate South African and proudly South African made beers. Because we do have lots of people that are brewers in South Africa, but they don't get a platform to speak about their beers. So, Tina, with the access to our tourists and everyone that likes cycling, then we try to use that platform to promote Bona. So with that also comes, obviously, the charge. So if you're a brewer and you want to be associated with these events, we can then sit down and negotiate about how then do we charge you for promoting Ilanduga, your beer. I mean, besides enjoying it, we need to charge to say, yes, we are having this beer. You know, that falls onto marketing as well. So yeah. Otherwise, we are pushing in terms of the tours. So the tours, they make us good enough revenue sometimes every month to be able to pay salaries, fix bikes, and then any other thing is additional for us. But we have people that come, then we charge for those. Like I said, the kids that come during school holidays. We also service bicycles. So we have a qualified bicycle mechanic on our team who service bicycles. So then and then we service them. You'll be shocked. This is a car, guys. I just need to make sure that people understand. Servicing this is like a car. You need to know how many kilometers the chain has endured. The tires, they can't be flat. The changers, you know, so there's so many things. So if we move to that prefers cycling, there is so much that goes into it. So then we do get a bundle that know the value, then they pay for the service, and then we clean their bikes, we lube the chain, we change whatever that we need to change. I mean, the gears, you need to reset them. You cannot be riding a bicycle for 2 years and not reset the gears, for example. Right? So we have the knowledge, so then we charge for that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Talk about disruption. Eh? But there's a business to it. And he's certainly disrupting it. And I love the education part of it. And the mindset that you have. You spoke lastly. There's two things that I'm going to ask from you. One is to give details regarding on how people can get involved in the tour that you spoke about. And then secondly, just the 1-minute inspiration to township entrepreneurs and how to make sure that 2025 is 2023.
All right. So he taught the libraries, like I said, we're cycling from Soweto to Northern Cape on the 17th of March. It's going to be a 5-day cycle up until the 21st of March. So if you'd like to sponsor bicycles, please get in touch with us. We do have a great social media platform that's engaging for brands that want to advertise. And also for me, it's always nice to partner with local businesses because of the tourists that we have. So for now, let's say, for example, I'm a Kandlela, to know that someone from Germany has your product, I think it's a very good booster. A moral booster. So for us, honestly, if you'd like to get involved, we're cycling from Soweto to Northern Cape. We can have a chat and see how then do we get your brand or services part of the initiative. And then in terms of motivation, I think sivugile sila, that's motivation. But also, guys, to keep a bicycle moving, or to keep balance, the bicycle has to be moving. So you as a person, you have to keep moving. If you stand, you fall. Same with the bike. If you've never ridden a bicycle before, for the bike to move, to keep balance, it has to move. If it stops, it falls. So that will be my piece of advice to Wonkum, to like, let's just keep moving. About Tola Pambili.
Thank you so much, my brother. Mpumelelo, social entrepreneur and the founder of BOOK IBHONI. Let's keep moving.